The Green Bay Packers defeated the Indianapolis Colts today by the thinnest of margins. Like any Packer fan, I know to expect the worst sometimes, especially at the end. I know my team tries its best at times, it seems, to make it seem as hard as possible to get the win, because this game should have been over early. I mean, hey, many times put it away, but they kept the Colts in the game. And if it wasn't for a couple of really bad interceptions by Anthony Richardson, the Colts very well could have won, and the Packers could have started 0-2, which for most teams is kind of a death sentence and really ends your season. Isn't that crazy that you could lose the first 2 games of the season and basically have spend the rest of the time digging out the rest of the way and still miss on the playoffs? It seems trivial, but I mean, it's a real thing. It's not many people, not many teams do it. Only a couple handfuls of teams are actually starting the season out 0-2 and actually going on to win anything anyway. But the Packers won, and let's be happy. It's a good day. Packers won with Malik Willis, and who would have figured that? I did. I picked them. I picked the Packers to win this game. I had a feeling they would win. That I thought people were just taking the Packers too lightly, like, oh, Jordan Love's out, they're not going to win. I mean, then they forget, like, this team is still good. I mean, sure, it definitely helps with a great quarterback to get a win, but the team is still really good around Malik Willis. That kept him in his strength, allowed him to do what he had to do. He was efficient, and that's all he needed to be. But let me know what you think down below. Otherwise, let's get to it. Starting with Malik Willis, of course. He was 12 for 14 today, 122 yards, 1 touchdown, 126.8 quarterback rating. Whoever figured he would have a rating like that in a game? No, he didn't need to throw very far. A lot of his passes were short, but he did make a couple of really nice dimes. One to Romeo Dobbs for 39 yards, a nice touchdown to Dontavian Wicks for, I think it was like 13 yards, which was nice. But really, the running game won the day today, at least in the first half. 32 carries for 151 yards. Now, I mean, that average didn't go down, because he was chewing them alive for most of the game. But credit to the Colts, they adjusted and limited Jacobs in the second half a large amount. He still got his runs in there, but certainly limited him a lot. Like I said, Dobbs had a really nice 39-yard reception. It was a jump ball. He totally caught it, and it looked great. And Malik Willis was right, like banging on his helmet. He's happy. It's good to see because a lot of people thought, oh, Malik Willis just can't make a pass. But he did. He made a deep pass. He was very efficient today. Only had 2 incompletions the whole day. Again, not the most deep of throws, not the most pressing and hard of throws, but he did what he had to do, and the Packers won. Now, Josh Jacobs, like I said, had a good game. Now, Packers were up 10-0. Now, who would have thought in the first quarter that Packers being up 10-0 will be possible? Well, they made it happen. They should have been up 17-0. If not for the Josh Jacobs fumble right on the goal line, fumbled it right in the end zone, and the Colts took advantage of it. Now, they didn't score off it, of course, but it was just one of those plays that you just shake your head and say, oh, that could come back to bite a team, and it nearly did. I mean, the Colts were very close to winning this game, but thankfully, Anthony Richardson again showed why many people have their doubts about him, because while he can make some amazing plays, has all the physical tools you could possibly want, he had 3 really bad interceptions. At least the last one was a deep last-minute throw to last second throw to try and heave it in the end zone, so that's not so bad. For the first one, he had absolutely boneheaded, threw it right into double coverage, and it's just you gotta know when to throw the ball, take a sack, or just like run out of bounds. Jonathan Taylor had a really good game for them. They're showing some concern again from the Packers' ability to stop the run. He had over 100 yards, 12 carries for 103 yards, had a couple of nice receptions as well. And for the most part, though, Packers were able to keep the Colts' attack in check. They didn't really start scoring towards the second half. Not to mention, for the Packers, Braden Darvison had a pretty good day kicking field goals, but again, he missed a big field goal that would have put them up by 9. It would have made it impossible for the Colts to really make a run of it at the end. But Packers make it easy for the opponents for a while, but at least they were able to win, so that's good. But again, there's just little plays all over through most games that you can always pick out and say, if this had gone another way, the team would have lost. Had this gone a different way, they would have won. And there were several instances for the Packers in this game that had they played a better team than the Colts, they would have lost for sure. But they won. Now they're 1-1, which is good. Now they're going up against Tennessee next week in Tennessee, so maybe there's some revenge factor for Malik Willis. Again, I highly doubt Jordan Love will be able to play. We'll see what happens. We'll see how much he's able to practice this week. But, we'll see what happens. I fully expect Malik Willis to be the starter next week. It would be cool to see that revenge factor. Before we go today, let's add a little bit about the defense. They were pretty all over the place. They didn't hold them in check for the most part. Devontae Wyatt had a couple of tackles for losses. Lucas Van Ness had a really nice tackle for a loss later in the game. And Javon Bullard had a couple of nice tackles. Quay Walker had 6 sole tackles, so he was all over the field. Overall, the defense played pretty well. Yes, they gave up over 100 yards rushing to Jonathan Taylor, and that was a bit concerning. They'll have to clear that up, but clearly their pass rush is really good. They do have a really nice young pass rush, especially it's really nice to see Devontae Wyatt really show what he has and show why he was drafted in the first round a couple years ago. Quay Walker, again, showing why he was drafted a couple years ago high up. Javon Bullard, several others. Lucas Van Ness is really starting to come into his own more and more. Didn't get a sack today, but he's really starting to make strides. Rashawn Gary hasn't had any sacks yet so far. I think he had one in the first game, but he'll have to get going a little more. But overall, the defense had a much better game than the first time. Now, the Colts are a much different team than the Philadelphia Eagles. The Colts, while they have some parts and pieces around, some nice weapons, have nowhere near the kind of weapons that the Eagles have. And the Packers nearly won that game. But Packers are 1-1. It's a good game. Let's be happy that they won. Now begins the planning for Tennessee. Not to mention, I forgot this little tidbit. Apparently, during a crucial third down play, Josh Myers threw up on the ball, and it was meant to be a pass, but ended up being a run. And just like, can you imagine picking up a football after your center freshly wretched all over it? It sounds absolutely terrible. And again, I don't really like Josh Myers that much, but it's just one of those scenarios that can happen to really anybody. But Packers win, so let's be happy about that. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Again, I picked this game for the Packers to win, but it very well could have ended up as a loss and could have been a really bad sign for the Packers going into the rest of the year. But they should be able to beat the Titans next week. We'll see. As always, I'll go over the game next week. So let me know what you think down below. Let me know any suggestions that I could do in the future. Let me know how I can improve my content and everything. I like to hear from everybody. I like to comment on people, even when people tell me to shut up, but I'm just not going to shut up. I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing here, and the mean comments just fuel me. The really nice comments, I've had a bunch of really nice comments lately about keep me going. I love the really nice comments. They really help keep me going, guys, so I thank you. I thank you for watching all my videos. Otherwise, have a great day, and as always, go Pack Go, and God bless.